Today I'm going to be going over how to install the Custom Dynamics Universal Magic Strobe Brake Light Modulator on the Yamaha R7. So this modulator has 10 different patterns you can choose from. I'm sticking with number 6. I like that one. Um, and then the general process for this is to install this. Since it's universal, it's not plug and play. So unfortunately, we have to cut the brake wire and make the connection to the Custom Dynamics modulator and then tap that into the ground wire. So that's the general process. If that's not something you want to do, but you do want a brake light strobe or modulator for your bike, there are integrated brake lights that are available right now that you can switch out. But I did not want to go with some of the options I saw out there. I want to keep the stock brake light. But shortly, I'm sure there are going to be companies coming out with plug and play brake modulators. So if you are patient, then you can wait for those to come out. But if you're not like me, then you can get this universal one and just install it yourself. So this is what that video is going to be going over. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Custom Dynamics brake light flasher. So this package comes with the actual module here. It comes with two posse lock connectors and one posse lock tap, and then it came with 8 tie downs. So I'll go ahead and show you the installation for this. So these are the instructions that came with the product. So I'm essentially just following along with these. I will link to online versions of all this in the description, as well as to where I bought the product, which was off Revzilla. So yeah, now we'll get to the install. Okay, the first thing you want to do is make sure your bike is off, and then go ahead and use your key to take off the seat here, just like that. All right, now that the passenger seat is off, we can now remove the seat cover here. So all this is these quick fasteners. So these are pretty easy to use. So if you just kind of push the center of this down, you'll hear like a click like that. And then do the other side, go ahead and push that center down. And then this should come right out like that. And it'll just slide off just like that. Okay, now that the seat cover's off here, the next step is to take this wrench here that's in the seat. So just kind of pull up on that, and that comes out. And then to remove the actual seat, we have to undo these 2 bolts right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll check back in afterwards. Okay, now that the seat cover's off and the battery is exposed, we are going to remove the negative lead to the battery here. Okay, so just checking in here. This is a bit of a discovery process since I've not done this before, like my own electrical work. The reason I'm doing it is because the quotes I was getting were pretty expensive, so I figured I'd do it for myself. And there's not a ton of information out on the R7 right now, but essentially where I'm at is this is the connector that goes to the brake light. So what I did here was I reached in with some needle nose pliers, and right here
if you just kind of pinch that little lever, you could pull this out pretty easily. So that's what I did. I pulled it out of here. I kind of fed it through here, and now it's out here. And then what I did next was this part right here where you kind of see the wire kind of flattened. That was held down with this like zip tie here, but it's like a zip tie that can be used multiple times. It goes in and out. So I kind of just pulled on that, that came off. And then where I'm at right now is there's kind of this like clamp that's holding some other wires. So some of the other ones going through here are the tail lights and license plate lights. So now I'm going to undo that. You just pull it apart essentially, and then that'll give me some more kind of feed with the brake light wire. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll check back in. Okay, so quick check in here. Yeah, where I left off was this little piece. So essentially the bottom of this is like kind of fastened into a little hole down here. So if you just pull up on the like group of wires, it'll disconnect, and then you'll have more room to get this off. So these two pieces here, you kind of just kind of pull them apart, and that'll kind of release the brake wire here from the group of three here, which are the tail lights and the license plate wire. So now we have a lot more feed to work with to actually install the module. So I'll check back in a bit once I kind of figure out how I want to do this. Okay, so I think the way I'm gonna do this is this white here kind of tucks in here and gets wrapped up with some of the other bundles. So I want to do it between the white tape around here. That way when I tuck it back, the module will kind of sit in this area. So on the Yamaha R7 here, you can see there's a black wire, a yellow wire, and then a blue wire with a red stripe. So the black is the ground, the yellow is the brake light, and the blue-red is the tail light, the running light. So we're gonna, for this brake modulator, we're gonna have to cut the yellow wire in half. So I'm gonna start by kind of cutting away some of this protective wrap, and then once I get some of that wire exposed, I'll go ahead and cut it, and then we'll go ahead and install it, and I'll keep checking in. Alright, so I decided to cut straight down this tubing in a straight line to expose it. So then I'll do the work in here, and I'll plan on trying to tube this back up and use a combination of some electrical tape to cover what's not exposed. So now that we're here, we can start actually installing the module. So I'll check back in once I get that set up. Okay, so now I have stripped off a 1/2 inch of the coating here. I'm using the 18 on the stranded side, so 18 up here, and a 1/2 inch, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the posse lock right here, and then I'm gonna put the red wire from the strobe here, and I'm gonna hand tighten these and make that first connection, and then I'll check back in. Okay, so I got this all hooked up to the first posse connector. So we're right here. So the brake wire into the red wire of the module. So now we'll do the white and make the connection, and then we'll do the ground after. Okay, so I just wanted to show how these posse connectors work in case you haven't used them before. So you could just like take one end out here, unscrew it. Hopefully you guys can see this like this. And then you're gonna take the wire here, and let me see if I can one hand this. Essentially feed this through. 1 second. Yeah, let me pause. Okay, so hopefully you can see this now. So essentially you're gonna feed it through so the wires are kind of sticking through. And then you're gonna take the posse connector and push it and screw it back in. And then you're gonna do the same on the other side. And once you have these screwed in, the wires should not come out. So give them a little pull, make sure they're actually screwed in there. So yeah, those wires are gonna stick in there and they're gonna screw down. Okay, so now we're gonna do the posse tap. So this one should have a gray end on it. So that's what's gonna go straight to the ground wire. So this little kind of, yeah, split in that, you're gonna slide the ground wire in it. You don't have to strip the wire, you don't have to cut the wire, you just slide it in. And then we're gonna go ahead and screw it. And then on this side, we're gonna do the same thing and take the black wire here from the brake modulator module and put it in there, and that should complete the connection. Okay, so now what this should look like is this connection should look like this. So from the module, we're using a posse connector to connect, split into the brake wire, and on the other end, we got the white wire from the module going into the other end of the brake wire, and then we're tapping into the black ground wire here. Now what we're gonna do is actually test this out. So we're gonna choose a setting on here, choose a number, which is like a light sequence with the bike off, and then we're just gonna turn the bike on and see if this connection works. So give me a second here. Sorry, one more thing. We have to connect a negative lead back to the battery terminal. So we're gonna do that, and then we'll just turn this on and we'll go ahead and test it out. All right, so took a solid hour here of, well, first of all, I lost one of these in the bike, so that took a while to find. The other issue here is I have no idea, but in the box I received 2 of these. They're absolutely identical. The only difference is the printed date here. Nothing in the instructions mention both of them having 2. And funny enough, it mentions that you get 5 tie wraps. I got 8. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. Anyways, so I had this one all hooked up. The brake light was working, but the strobing function was not. I checked all my wires, double checked, like redid the posse taps, and nothing. So I decided to use the other one in the box, and now it's working. So I got the brake connector plugged back in here. I got my negative lead to the terminal, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn the bike on, and you can see the brake light is working. I'll go ahead and set up the camera here. And it's on setting 6 right now. So if I go ahead and grab either brake, you can see it does do its strobe. So everything seems to be working. So now what I'm gonna do is see if I could get this all wrapped up in a better way, tied down, and I'll explain how I did that or yeah, I'll explain how I do that, and then yeah, so not too bad considering that I've never done any kind of wiring before. So hopefully this helps out. But yeah, I'll check back in a little bit. Okay, quick check-in. So as you saw before, there's the three kind of posse connector, posse tap. So I reused some of the tubing that we had cut earlier, kind of around here. I chopped it off and then kind of reused it up here, but then I just used electrical tape on the remaining open stuff. So now I'm gonna lock down the bundle again with this zip tie and this other wrap that's gonna push into place somewhere to hold it in, and I'll check back in then. Okay, so now I got the module kind of tucked in there. I don't know if you can see this, but this piece right here kind of bundles the wires together. I kind of did the best I could. Kind of got some funky things going on with the zip ties, just to hold this in place so it's not flapping around. And that's connected back. So now I'll connect the battery back up, and then we'll put the seat on, seat cover, and then the seat back on, and it should be all good to go.